Hey Terry, Demetrius here. So I was gonna start this video, and we get really technical and stuff, but I realize I don't need to do that, right? You understand uh, the importance of ranking, right, and what that does. Uh, and really, it comes down to three things, right? It comes down to telling Google who you are, what you do, and where you do it. And there's a few ways we can go about doing that, but ultimately it comes down to establishing trust and authority to help Google push you up so that you become uh, seen, right? You become want to be visible, right? And so when most people are searching, they stop here, right, in the map pack. And this is some prime real estate, right? Because about 7 out of 10 people that are looking for anything stop there. And so if your business isn't showing up there, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities, right? And we do that by first optimizing your Google listing and getting citations. So citations are anywhere that your name, address, and phone number show up on the web. And really think of those like directories, right? And there's thousands of them. Most businesses usually only have somewhere in like the 20 to 30 range. And so doing above and beyond what your competitors are doing help you get in there. Now that's not the only thing. Obviously, reviews help. Posting updates to your Google business profile and responding to reviews when you get them, right? The next thing I want to talk about, because it's just as important, is your actual website and letting Google know what you do, right? Comes through with content. And the more content you have, the better. But you want to have relevant content, right? You just don't want to put out a bunch of just filler nonsense and whatnot. So again, telling Google what you do. So getting very specific. So you mentioned wanting to focus on, farm and ranch style fencing rather than, just chain link or stuff like that. And so we want to expand on those things and the services that you offer, right? And so normally what happens is you scroll down and you see this people also ask, right? So if people are asking these things, it's probably something that we might want to consider putting on the website, right? And then if you look at here, right, we click on these and they start to expand, right? So we can get a pretty decent list of questions that people are asking in regards to fencing, right? Um, and so we can gather some of this information and reformat it and then also implement that on the website. Why? Because the more information that we give Google, right, we get looked at as the authority. So just to kind of give you an example here, I'm going to show you one of my clients, right? This is an elevator company in Miami. They're just so happen to be called Miami Elevator, but these guys here, this is my client, right? And so let's check out all the spots. So this is right. This is their website, but it's sitting above the Google Business, the map listings, right? And so they show up 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Times on the just on the first page, right? And so Google looks at these guys' footprint as the go-to for elevator service in Miami, right? And so we need to do the same thing for your business. Now, I see that you are sitting in the map pack in Prineville, and that's awesome because that's your home base, right? But relatively speaking, right, there's a lot less people in Prineville than there are in Redmond, and especially Bend, right? And so, just to kind of give you a little frame of reference here, right? So this is a tool I use called Search Atlas, and I use it for a few different things, but here specifically, I put your website in, and it gives me a snapshot of the keywords that you're ranking for, right? Now, ranking doesn't necessarily mean top three. It just means that what Google has indexed you for. And so here's some of the keywords that you show up for, well, from your website, right? And you'll look here, and fencing Prineville is not one of them, right? And so what my point is there is that it's easy to rank in a location where there isn't a ton of search, right? Hence this versus this, or here for Redmond, right? So these guys, so Central Oregon Fence Company, right, is doing pretty good. They're, whoever is on their team handling their stuff, they know what they're doing. And so I wanted to show you, right, fencing Redmond, Oregon. You're currently sitting in page 5, right? So I don't know anytime you go looking for anything, but how often do you go to page 5 when you're looking for to get something done, right? And so that keyword, right, fencing Redmond, Oregon, gets 70 hits a month, right, for that one keyword. And so usually how that works is the top 3 spots take up the lion's share of those 70 hits. So after that, then you're fighting for scraps, right? And especially if you don't even show up on the first page, you're not getting the call at all. And so what we need to do is is put a plan together to start getting you to show up in these locations, like for Redmond and Bend. And we do that, again, like I said, with citations and building out your Google business profile. And that may include adding additional business profiles for each location. And then content, right? And we can do that a multitude of ways. But really, we need to add more content. And then last but not least, and it's important, is backlinks, right? And backlinks are votes to your site. And so that also helps Google realize you as an authority in your space, because if you're getting links from other fencing websites or blogs or magazines, things like that, they look at you and they say, oh, well, man, if this trusted blog site on fencing, is going to link to these guys, they must be doing something right. And so with the combination of those 3 things, right, citations, right, get the name, address, and phone number out on the web, content on the website, additional content, right, because this homepage, doesn't even have 200 words of content on it, right? And it allowed you to show up in Prineville, but that's not going to get the job done for Bend and Redmond. And so we'll need to modify some things, right? And you mentioned already kind of wanting to take a look at changing that. And then backlinks, right? Votes to your site. And so with the combination of those things, right, we can go from non-existent in Redmond and Bend, and get to where we're a hog in the game and dominating the space. And you mentioned you don't want to necessarily get as big as some of the competitors here, but wouldn't you rather have that ball in your court and you can decide which jobs you take and which ones you don't, versus having to wait and see, right? Hopefully that was helpful. But if you want to talk about next steps, man, let's set up a time. Let's get together. Thanks.